Good technique.
Thank you to the sponsors, You at Your Best Protein and Insight Supplements, for their support in making this YouTube series. Welcome to episode 2 of this series, looking at the upcoming Ragnarok games, which are going to be held in Miami, Florida in February 2023. This second episode was planned to be an interview with Mike Della Pava from the Battle Axe Gym, who's the guy in charge of setting the events and weights for this competition. So I spoke to Mike for about 35 to 40 minutes a couple of days ago and recorded the conversation that we had through FaceTime, but didn't realise that I had to give the screen record function on my phone access to my microphone, so it was just a video of me and Mike silently mouthing words at each other that would be of no interest to anyone. So me and Mike are going to repeat that for a coming episode. It was quite an interesting conversation, actually, and gave me quite a lot of reassurance about the competition. I am confident following that there is going to be a good competition held, and I think that like Mike's taken a lot of his reputation on that, so it'd be interesting for everyone to hear that conversation when I get that re-recorded. And you know, Mike couldn't re-record that this week because he's on his way up to OSG at the moment. And obviously the conditions over there are very difficult for everyone, so I just want to just wish everyone to keep safe over there with the hurricane on its way in. So there's been a few bits what I've seen online that I just want to touch on this week. The first one was a cancelled Facebook event in relation to the Ragnarok games. I don't feel particularly worried by that at all. I think it was a cancellation of an incorrect dated event. The event that still exists on Facebook now is the one for the correct dates there. And I think there was a few people kind of jumping on the bandwagon there, thinking that this cancelled event meant that the event wasn't happening. I don't think that's the case at all. I've directed a few questions at Ralph about some of the stuff that's been coming up online about him personally and about people questioning his integrity as a promoter. One of those was this kind of question that keeps coming up about him being whether he's a veteran or not, and I don't really understand the relevance of it to the strongman side of things, and I guess kind of it means more in America than what it does over here. But Ralph, his response to that was that he already won a lawsuit regarding an online petition that was started by someone against him, and that he's actually never claimed that he was a US Army veteran. So I don't really know where that started from or why it's particularly relevant. I suppose if it was the case that he was like doing the stolen valor thing, that his integrity would be questioned, but it doesn't sound like that's right from what I'm getting. The other one was the Courage Challenge, which was a mud run obstacle race thing that was like cancelled or moved dates at the last minute, and some people lost money out on that. Ralph was listed as one of the organisers on that because he designed the course. And his point of view on that is that he was the course designer and that he was nothing more. He promoted it on his social media because it was people that he was associated with and he was friends with who were running it, but that he wasn't one of the promoters or the organisers, and that it shouldn't reflect on him as a promoter. Take that as you will, I suppose. I am going to be speaking to Ralph in the next couple of weeks and recording that to put up on this YouTube channel. So if anyone's got any questions that they want to ask him specifically about the competition, like trying to avoid questioning his personal integrity. When I spoke to him, he doesn't really want to kind of feed into the hate, which I kind of get. But also there is things that people want some reassurances on, so which is very understandable. So about looking to speak to him about what the games are going to look like, what they're going to run like. He's talked about treating athletes like rock stars and about it being run completely different to any other competition. So it's kind of that sort of aspect of things that I want to investigate to see what the Ragnarok games is going to be about and how it's going to be different. So if anyone wants to drop anything in the comments about that, or if you kind of want that to be anonymous, feel free to DM me on Facebook, Instagram, anything like that. So again, I'll do what I did in the last video where we look at some of the events again that are going to be part of the Ragnarok games. So continuing on day one event number 3 is going to be the log clean and press for reps. I don't think it's listed on there yet whether it's going to be a metal or a wooden log. I would imagine the volume of competitors, it's probably going to be steel logs. Doesn't make a great deal of difference. For my category, the heavyweight open, the weight listed is £315, which is roughly 142 kilograms. For people that don't work in pounds, it is 2 kilograms above my personal best, but I do think that by the time that I come to that competition, I'm confident in hitting a couple of reps at that weight. Just for reference, here's my personal best, 140 kilograms, roughly about a year ago. And I believe this was the last time I've done log for reps in competition, which is 130 kilograms for reps, which I tied for first place with 4.
Come on, Andy! Yes, lad! Come on, Andy!
Come on then.
Come on! Oh, yes, mate. Come on! 30 seconds.
Come on then, one more.
2 more for win. Come on, Andy! Come on! Big press! Come on!
In a recent log training video at 115 kilograms, 3 sets of 3 I'd done. I find it quite difficult getting the leg driver in that due to the patella tendonitis problems that I've been having. I'm consistently working on log at the moment. I think that, yeah, it's within my capability to, I don't expect to zero it, definitely not. But it is a heavy old weight, and I suppose there's a chance that people are going to struggle with that, particularly for reps. I think it probably won't get zeroed very much, but I think it'll be one with a low number. The super heavyweight category are doing 325, which is like 148 kilos or something like that, and then the pro category are going to be doing 158 kilos, roughly 350 pounds is the listed weight for that. It's a heavy log for reps. Again, I think maybe there won't be very many zeros on it. I think we would expect people who are competing in a pro class to have a max that's surely at the kind of 160 or above, but the same as in mine, where I think that it's going to be won by a low number. I think there'll be a lot of split points in that. I've had a look through some of the open competitors. My intent was just to pick a few at random each week, so that I wasn't picking on the same people and making it feel like if I was saying they were going to struggle, that I was like questioning their abilities or anything like that. But there's a lot of competitors in there that I actually can't find on any social media, which I thought was a bit unusual for some of the pros. So again, take that how you will. I think it's odd to not be able to find someone now on Instagram, YouTube, no entries ever at like Static Monsters and stuff like that. Obviously look in places where I'm going to find log numbers. So I'll go through a few of the people that I did find. There's Anderson Aguiar, 160 Static Monsters log last year. So you expect that he would be able to manage his weight fine. Aurelien Lejeune, he's competing at OSG this weekend, and he did well in log at SCL, hit 140 for 6, and he did a 160 log last year that I could see on his Instagram, so I don't particularly see a problem with him doing that. Balancy Wilson, I could only find one log video of him, and it was an empty log that he struggled with, but I'm not really sure, like, there's no way of knowing what that log weighs. There's no numbers up on his Instagram. There's very little Strongman content on there at all. Brad Neitzel, seeing a difficult 365 pounds lift out of a rack in April. We would expect maybe 350 for a single would be achievable. Some difficulty with Marco Backler, seeing what kind of numbers he was hitting, and he appears to be an under 90 athlete, so some of these numbers would probably be quite difficult for him if I'm looking at the right guy. Dean Evans I've seen do 170 kilos strict bar out of a rack. I don't see an issue with Dean getting at least one on this. Travis Ortmeyer, the easiest one to find content on. His last big competition that was televised, I suppose, was the World's Strongest Man in 2021. He only managed the first implement in the overhead medley, and his last 2 SCL competitions and Siberian Power, he zeroed the log on all of them. I do believe he's got a shoulder issue, that means he pretty much can't get anything overhead. So you probably would be looking at Travis to potentially zero that. But yeah, like I said, I think there'd be a lot of 1s and a lot of 2s, and then not many above that. So I think it'll be an event that'll be won by someone with a low number. He's a bit of loading practice, nowhere near comp weight, just trying to get a little bit faster at this. I won't show too much because it could potentially be quite boring. Loading race is the next event on day 1. It's kind of a difficult one to be able to look at properly because the difference in implements makes such a massive difference. The heavyweight class will be doing 300 pound keg, 300 pound sandbag carried for 30 feet, which is roughly 10 metres into the sled. And then, so it's sandbag and keg of the same weight, and then pulling the sled for 50 metres back up the course, 50 feet back up the course, so it's what, 15 metres or so, and the listed weight for the sled is just heavy, which could mean anything. I think it's likely those numbers are probably £300 for heavyweight and £350 for pro, probably not a massive issue. I think that for that distance, they're probably going to be achievable. I think that it's not something that people are really going to zero, because as long as you move with an implement, you're going to get some points, aren't you? It's a difficult one for me at the moment. Any sort of moving stuff's quite hard because I'm having issues with patellar tendonitis, and I'm going to put a separate video up about some of the things that I've been doing to relieve that, because I've seen a lot of people suffering with it at the moment. And it's kind of, there's loads and loads of information about that and what you can do, and it might be that people that are lifting have injured theirs in a similar way to mine, so it might be that approaching it in the same way to rehab it might help. I don't feel today like I'm in a particularly good position to be able to offer advice on that, because I feel borderline disabled in the way that I'm walking, to be honest. Only a short video today. Hopefully we'll have a guest on the next one. Again, good luck to everyone out at OSG. Just keep safe with that crazy weather that's happening out that